Hi students, welcome to another class on trends and forecasting. Now today we are focusing just a little bit on the Weebly website that we actually were working on from last week. Some of you have done this before with me. Some of you, of course, it was very new, which is a good thing because it allows you to start thinking about things in a certain way, which I like. And that is one of the reasons why the exercise was done very blindly, in the sense that there was no, like, I didn't tell you about it beforehand and I just threw you guys at it so that you guys can figure it out. And sometimes that is the best way to learn something, especially when it is not something that we normally do. This is not a website design class. This is not about programming or coding class for websites, nothing of that sort. This is not an internet class per se. You are not doing anything for the internet, but we are still in the arena of design. And because we are in that landscape of design, I think it is excellent. I think it's like a very fantastic way of actually working with websites, because now you actually get to see all these cool things that normally you would not really see. So that's why I'm very happy that we actually got a chance to, to get into this. Now, I do want to continue my little dialogue here, if you don't mind me saying so, is when I was in school, and this was a long time ago, and we were fashion design students, but I went to Parsons School of Design in New York, and the way the school is structured is it allows you, or it wants you to start exploring the subject of design in other mediums. For example, we would end up taking a product design class. We are fashion designers, but we'll end up taking a product design class is because the teacher or the curriculum is more geared towards us being more involved in design as compared to fashion. See, it can't just be fashion all the time. Design is not limited to fashion, because fashion lends itself to so many things, and so many things lends itself to the fashion world. And because of that, there's a little bit of interplay. So the way the students, we were asked to work in school is to always take certain courses that were not necessarily fashion itself. But what we learn in those courses, or what we learn in those subject matters, helped us to become a very interesting designer. And of course, we end up making clothes because that's our profession, is making clothes, okay? So I want to go through some stuff here with you, just to show you some ideas that in this case, when if you look at this picture, it shows you that when you are designing something, even though you're designing one thing, you are trying to look at it from multiple platforms, in the sense that this has a desktop computer. On the side, you can see there's a laptop computer. Then on the far side, you see there's an iPad computer, and then there is a phone. It's the same website, but it is moved into all these different formats. Okay, so I just wanted to show this to you so that way you understand that, when you look at this, something like this, there's a good chance that you might say, okay, if you are designing a garment, can you make a men's version of that garment? And if you are designing menswear, if you could design a women's wear version of that garment. It's something to think about. So please don't gloss this over. Just think about it, because Armani does this a lot. Armani is very famous for taking menswear, putting it on women's, and taking women's wear and kind of like masculine it up a little bit and then move it into menswear. He's very famous for knowing to do this. And it's not because he's a good website designer, it's just that he understands it. He understands how to take something from here and throw it there, or how to take something from there and reimagine it and throw it somewhere else. I mean, he's a master of this. That's why he's the great Giorgio Armani. So, it's something to think about. I like this because of colors, because when we are working in the trends and forecasting arena, color is such a big deal. And this is a website from Weebly, by the way. As you can see, it looks really nice. The photography is there. But you can also see how they were editing or re-editing the photographs. The photographs are not shot like that. You know that. The photographs are not shot like that, because they would shoot the picture wide and then the graphic designer will cut it exactly to give you that kind of feeling and emotion. Now, this is a very important thing. Even though you're not looking at fashion right now, I am seeing how you could take something, an idea like that, and bring it to fashion design. And maybe I will talk more about that in fashion a little bit, but I just want you to pay attention to these little things and see if you can take something from there and bring it into the fashion world. You know, that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to explore and see if we could really bring all these things over. Now, this is a Weebly thing, by the way. I took it from the internet, obviously. And you can see how the photography is done, how the setup is done. It's very simple. It's probably a catalog. Now, here is another website that I wanted to show you. I'm not showing you the website. I'm showing you the format. Normally, when you do a website, you actually have pages where you click, it takes you to the next page. Okay, that's one way of doing a website. The other way of doing a website is like this, where the website is just one page from top all the way to the bottom. You don't really need to go anywhere else. As you click, the page moves up and down. I'm sorry, this is not an animated version. Otherwise, I would have shown it to you like a demo. If I find some websites, I will actually send you the link so you can see that you don't really leave the page. The page simply moves up and down. It's one big long page. And as you click, the page just moves up and down, which is really cute, by the way. I like something like this. As you can see, it's the same thing on Weebly, where you basically show it on the computer, a laptop, desktop, and then they also show you how it looks like on an iPad and how it looks like on a phone. I know I'm talking about websites today. I know that. I'm aware of that. But if you really look into my dialogue, if you really understand where I'm going with this, is you can actually see that, wait a minute, there's so many things that we can borrow from the web world into our fashion design. That is something to really look at. I like something like that. This is our Weebly editor's face, of course. That's where you go in and you start looking at things. On the top, as you can see, all that stuff, those are known as pages, by the way. So you click it and it takes you a different page. Some of you were, you made a couple of mistakes where your bio and your face is supposed to be at the end of like the last page, but you probably did it on the first page, because I think that's what I saw. And so please, you need to correct that. You need to move it to the end. Now, this and this, I wanted to talk to you guys just a little bit, maybe 2 minutes, is originally when we do designing and website designing, of course. I know this is not a web design class. I'm aware of that. So please don't think that I'm taking a chicken walk and going totally in one direction and you're like, this is the trends and forecasting class. This is fashion design class. Where is he going with website design? This is crazy. It's not. And follow me on this. So when we think about design, as you can see from the images, as something like that, is everything is first thought out on paper. Now, in the world of web design, is a very expensive affair. Originally, web designers would charge anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 to make a website. It was really not that cheap. I'm talking about maybe 20, 30 years ago. It was a very big deal. Today, it's everything click and clack, click it and drop it here and there, and then you have a website and you're a big web designer, But in those days, these things were done by hand. They were done by hand. And there's a lot of learning process that we can take from there, is because when you do something by hand, you learn something. See, remember, when you do something by computer, the idea of a computer is the computer does half the work for you. In other words, the computer is taking half the fun away from you. Think about that for 1 second. So that's why, yes, you want to draw in Illustrator and Photoshop and stuff like that, but I think you should always make the attempt of doing it on paper, because you really learn a lot when you do it on paper. Now, if you take a look at this one, as you can see, this is like when they first design it on paper, they will bring it to the computer and they will do something that looks like this, where it's all drawn out with real good schematics, that means with perfect measurements. You could use Illustrator to do this, and you can use a lot of other graphic type of software to do this. But this is what I wanted to show to you. this and this page. This is how originally things were done. They would lay it out. They did not exactly have the pictures, they did not have the words, but they know exactly where everything would be on the page. And that is something as a designer we must learn to appreciate, this simple little idea. That means if I was designing a garment just like this, let's say if I designed a polo, what could I make on this polo that would make it a little bit different from everybody else? See, that is the little things. So when I am thinking out a design, I will first take my base design and then I will start modifying it. I would start trying to find different directions where I can go. For example, if I look at this polo right now, I don't know if the lighting is pretty good, if you can see my collar, right? I could probably put, a label right over there. Or I could put like an artwork right over there. I'm not sure that if this is done or not. I'm sure it probably is done at some point, because at this point everything is nearly done. But I would do something a little bit different. Like I would put the logo over here, but I would kind of do it a little bit tastefully. I would not just bang, put it right over there just because, I could and I'm a big designer and I should. No, not like that. The idea is to tastefully position certain things that makes the garment a little bit more you. That means it's a little bit more your originality, so to speak. So when I design something, I would look at my base design, which is a simple design, and then I would start going in different directions. But I would end up drawing something like this. Squiggle it out, totally rough, very dirty, no finishing touches, just to see, will it look nice? Yes or no? So layout is a very big deal in the world of fashion. And when you look at web design probably, I think they probably borrowed a lot of things from the fashion world, because everything, usually when you do fashion design in a real design studio, everything is always laid out very nicely before you start rendering it. That means before you start inking and coloring it, because you don't want to spend 3 hours to color something only to find out that nobody's going to buy it. And that thing is just as good for the garbage, or take it home and put it on your wall. It's kind of silly, of course, when I say it. This is a website for fashion design. This is just a simple thing that I just took from online to put it there. And I wanted to show you the photography version of it. That means when you take a picture from the internet, you are most welcome, and you should re-edit the picture before posting it on. So when we come to our assignment, I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in the assignment part. Okay, assignment part. All right, let's go. So we are going to basically we're going to keep it very simple this week, because I want you to focus on what you are doing. I don't want you to do it like in 10 minutes. I want you to take a good 1 hour to plan it out. Then I want you to take a good 1 hour to actually do the job. And I think that should be the way we should work when we're working on something like this. So in this case, you already have your website done. Not complete, but it's done. You are going to make a first page assignment. That means the moment you click the link, this is what you're going to see. 7 key points on WGSN. 7 key points on WGSN. That means you can talk about them. You're most welcome to use pictures along with words to make it. But this will be on the first page. So that means when you send me the link, when you're done, you send me the link again, because you may change your website, right? So I really don't know. I don't want to assume it's the same link. So you will send me the link again when you're done. So the moment I click the link, that means when I go to your website, I must see WGSN. Your version, not the original WGSN. That you take it from them, you go to their website, you copy things on the internet, no problem, and you design the first page of WGSN as an assignment on your website. That is your assignment for this week. So thank you very much for listening to the lesson. I appreciate it. Of course, please make sure that you are putting your picture and your bio at the end of the website. That means when you look at all the tabs, it should be towards the end. That means the last tab, when I click it, like the last button, let's say it has 4 buttons on the top, and the first button should be WGSN, and the last button should be your picture and your bio, because that's the proper way of doing it. If you look at any book, I don't really think that, not as if the book is about that person, then obviously it's the picture of that person. But if it's not about that person or the author, they're usually always at the end of the book, not at the beginning of the book. Okay? So Thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed this lesson and exercise. Please understand what you're learning by doing this exercise is how are you putting things together? How are you doing this? This is the most important part, because if you pay attention to the little details of things like this, that same attention you will pay to your fashion design. It's natural. If you do it in one world, you're going to end up doing it in the other world too. So thank you guys, and see you in class. Bye. Thank you.